Hey, what's up? This is Phil doing another one of these videos. This time we are looking at speedcubecat. Speedcubecat is kind of a household name on the Cubicle's Twitch stream. Whenever I stream, I see him around all the time. He's a really nice dude, and today I'll be checking out his channel. I'm currently on his About page. It says getting people to try cubing and sharing my hobbies with cubers at all levels. That's cool. And then this is kind of his stats. That's pretty nice. So he's actually really new to cubing. I believe this is, this is like 7 months ago. He just started. He was a complete beginner, and now he's sub 30. And I guess he's just gonna keep going. And he keeps really good track of his PBs, which is pretty cool. It's pretty thorough. And children always ask parents, okay, so this guy's older. I kind of knew that going in though. So these are his videos. Quick comment about the thumbnails. It's very simple, but I think some of them are a little too simple and they don't capture my attention as easily as this one. This is a great thumbnail. My puzzles and upgrade plans. A lot of people there's a very successful Cubastic YouTube video where he has the puzzles line up exactly the same way, and yeah, it's very eye-catching. You're like, oh, look at all these puzzles. Like, I want to see what happens. What does this guy do with all these puzzles? Versus like this. Like, I have no idea what the point of this is. And of course there are titles, but it kind of like forces me to look at the title. Usually what happens is the thumbnail has some text that says, like, you can say like train your OLL, you know, and then I'll be like, oh, I need help on my OLL. Let me go and look at this video, and then I'm sure the video will tell you what the point of this cube is. And sometimes these videos also have really long titles, like the black Moyu RS3 M 2020 is 3 grams heavier than the ... I don't know what you're comparing it to. I assume it's the stickerless one, but yeah, who really knows? I think maybe shorter titles, unless you do this for some purpose, might be helpful. I see you're teaching Rubik's Cube basics. That's pretty cool. And yeah, I picked 3 videos, and so I'm gonna watch them. But definitely, I think thinking about the thumbnails and how you want to grab a viewer's attention is might be helpful. All right, so this is the first video. It is Moyu RS3 M 2020, black versus stickerless, new versus broken in. So you seem like you're comparing cubes. So let's watch this and see what happens.
Hey fellow cubers, welcome to another speedcubecat video. In one of my previous videos, I unboxed a black and a stickerless Moyu RS3 M 2020. In this video, I'm going to give my thoughts from a beginner intermediate perspective in comparing these two out-of-the-box cubes, and while they're new, also comparing them to one that is already broken in.
Okay, so this is cool. He does this for all the intros. He says, welcome to another speedcubecat video. It's very consistent and very feel-good. Already, he's giving you a frame of reference that it's for beginner intermediate. And so it's really helpful to know that before you come in, so you can perhaps relate to him if you're watching this video. So yeah, so far it's the structure, it feels good.
Here's a little background. I've only been cubing for 4 months, and then I took a month off when things got busy. I started at 3 minutes, and I'm down to a personal best of 38 seconds and an average in the low 40s.
All right, so he's already gotten better, judging from his his PB thing in his About page. So this video, I think it's like 2 weeks old.
Usually when I try a new cube, I compare it to a different cube I've already tried. Then I say if I like the new cube or not.
It's very reasonable.
This is the first time I could compare newly opened cubes to a broken in one of the same model. So today I'm going to compare these Moyu RS3 M 2020s. These two are out of the box and haven't been set up. One is stickered and the other stickerless. And this one has been my main for 4 months and has added magnets, its tension, and lube. First will be the feel of the cubes.
All right, cool. So as far as I can tell, there's not that much movement on the screen. It's very chill, very relaxed video. I feel like the lighting can be a little brighter. This is just a personal thing. If I'm gonna be watching a video for a really long time, then yeah, maybe something that makes the colors pop would be helpful. And yeah, let's get into it. Keep going.
In terms of texture, I can feel the stickers with this one.
It's a fact. It has stickers. Yes.
This has the frosted plastic feel,
Okay.
but after lots of use, it'll feel smoother like this one.
Yeah, and you know what? The cube on the right actually it had some light glinting off of it, and that one was yeah, that felt like that was like evidence that it rubbed off and it was more glossy. So that's cool.
If you look how the light reflects, you can see that this is
Okay, well then yes.
shinier. As I mentioned, I'm a beginner intermediate cuber, so here's my attempt at performing some triggers with the cubes. Just keeping it real, hope I don't mess it up. I'll do it slow.
Ooh, that's a wild alg.
I could feel the stickers on that one.
This cube feels quicker. Like it looks like it's moving quicker.
They feel the same, just the stickers.
And this one feels lubed. Or he sounds lubed.
Okay, so this feels more solid, while these two feel the same, but they need some setup. Okay, let's see how they are in corner cutting. Start here, a little less than half, and then half. Okay, let's try to go all the way to that half. It's still good. And this one in reverse, before less than the line and at the line. Okay, corner cutting. Less than half, before the line, just at the line. Little tough. Okay, there you go.
It's a struggle.
Okay.
So far this video has been one take, which is like pretty impressive. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's very simple in terms of yeah, planning this video, but it also is very demanding. You have to do everything in one take, just like this video I'm doing. But I'm not trying to teach you nothing. Like, this is just me reacting, so it's a lot easier.
Just there.
Doing a video like this is actually
this one has tighter tensions.
Ooh.
After using these new cubes, they feel really fast. Suddenly, this feels so sluggish and slow.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But it's more control, really. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's look at this one. Is tension to like 5 clicks.
Yes.
Let's see how these are.
Probably no clicks.
How they came out from the factory. These feel really fast right now. I prefer them. I used to prefer them really fast, but after some time you realize that they're too fast. You want to slow them down.
That's
So
fair.
let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that was at the loosest setting.
Yep. You can also tell that visually.
This one.
If the blue part is collapsed all the way.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that was also on the loosest setting.
Yep. You can feel that like the thing plummet down. That's yeah.
Okay.
But
So
you
in
can tell
wrapping
visually.
up,
Yeah.
if I close my eyes, I could really tell the difference. And I would even think these two were different, was a different cube from this one. I don't know how else to explain it, but these feel like baby powder containers. I guess to some people that's what they call a papery feel. While this one feels more solid, and I would say it's like a 9-volt battery. That's how solid it is. Okay.
It's a very interesting comparison. I'm not sure I follow, but that's cool. I can appreciate the difference when you're doing this.
These two are identical, which makes sense. They feel identical, which makes sense since they're the same cube. And the only difference is the stickers that you can feel. Okay. As for new versus broken cubes, they also feel very different, even if they're the same cube. So when I get a new cube in the future, I'm going to remind myself that what it feels like when I first open it will not be how it feels like after setup and multiple solves.
That's true.
So I'll
That's
give
true
a new
fact.
cube a chance to see if it gets better over time. Anyway, that's it for this video. Please help support and grow my YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Happy cubing, and see you at my next video.
Okay, so I subscribed already, but I need to like and comment, so I'll do that later. But I feel like this comparison was a little strange because the cube on the right, the one that was like broken in and used, was on 5 clicks for elasticity, and the other ones were at stock settings. And I think like one thing he needed to address was what's actually causing the difference. Is it the fact that it's broken in, or is it the fact that it's on a different elasticity setting? Like, I think it would have made more sense to... I mean, okay, it makes sense to compare right out of the box with used. Like, that's part of the point of the video. But then it would have been interesting to say, okay, let's take the new stickerless one, put it at 5 clicks, and see how similar it is to the used one at 5 clicks. You would have a more accurate and probably a more useful basis of comparison. Because fundamentally, if you have different elasticity, the cube will feel a little different and it'll perform differently. And then you're just stating the obvious if you're saying they're different, because they're like the adjustment would be wildly different. So that's just what I feel. I mean, everything you said kind of makes sense. Yeah, I like how you were like you qualified your experience in cubing so that people can relate to you. I thought that was really cool. You're also really self-aware with the whole, like, if I get a new cube, make sure to give it a chance because it might perform differently after setup, and it's good to be aware of how a cube feels when it's new. I think these are all things that some people don't quite appreciate all the time, so it's good that you're aware. But I think some thought into how to actually compare the cubes meaningfully would have helped make this video more interesting. But yeah, that was a cool video. Let's watch the next one. The next one is
Hey, fellow cubers. Well,
this is Rubik's Cube Basics, basic cube notation. So this is going to teach me how cube notation works. And the lighting is also a little like dingy, so definitely my opinion is to figure out maybe a way to boost up the lighting. That'd be pretty sick, make everything look better.
welcome to another speedcubecat video.
Yep.
In a previous video, I used these cubes to discuss layers and faces.
Okay, sorry, I didn't watch your previous video, but hoping, yeah, I know what a layer and a face is.
In this video, I will be discussing basic cube notation.
Okay.
But before we begin, please make sure you are familiar with the 6 different faces of a 3x3 Rubik's Cube.
Sure.
If not, please watch the video about layers and faces.
Yes.
If you know about faces, we can continue with this video. So, I was originally going to use this cube to teach you basic cube notation, but I realized it looks the same in any direction I move. So,
yes, and it's also a problem if the lighting is dark and you can't see the black moving against the black. But it looks like you're not going to use this cube, so that's
I made this cube
fantastic.
where you can follow the orange corner. When moving a face, imagine you are looking directly at the face.
Okay, so that's the cardinal rule, which is the notation is based on the face as if you were looking at it.
Like this.
Okay.
A face turns either clockwise or counterclockwise.
Mm-hmm. Fact.
If you imagine twisting with your hands as a guide, you'll notice that you naturally twist clockwise with your right hand, and you naturally twist counterclockwise with your left hand.
I don't know if I see it that way. Maybe. I don't immediately. It's not like something I'm immediately like. Yes, like I definitely do that. So that's interesting. Okay.
Again, this is a guide. This doesn't mean you will use your right hand for all clockwise moves and your left hand for all counterclockwise moves. It's a
Okay.
guide.
Hmm.
So, for example, this is the up face. A 90-degree clockwise move
Okay. Your wrist is blocking your hand, but I can kind of see what you're going at. Um,
is an uppercase U. So, with your hands in this position, you can move the U face clockwise with your finger like this, U.
cool. Okay.
And to move the up face 90 degrees counterclockwise, we use U prime like this, U prime. And then to move the up face 180 degrees, so that means from this corner to that corner, we move the up face twice in either direction, and we use U2. U2, that was when I did clockwise. Of course, you can do U2 counterclockwise like this.
Hmm.
Okay. Now for the down face.
So a few thoughts. One, I am really still not sure why you told, like, why you say that most people naturally do a clockwise turn with their right hand and a counterclockwise turn with your left hand, as if you're like screwing in like a knob or something, because you completely discard the idea by using your finger anyway. So I think you could have saved 30 seconds or however many seconds by just saying the best way to do U is with your right hand. So, yeah, I don't know. And then to qualify that statement, you were like, yeah, it's not like you have to do every clockwise turn with your right hand and every counterclockwise turn with your left hand. So, what good is that guide if there are exceptions and that's not how you naturally turn? That's just I guess my first thought when reading this. But I guess it does encourage a beginner to use their right hand for U moves. But you could have just said, hey, trust me, this is like the best way to do a U-turn. And I see you turn the cube like upside down. So one thing that I think would be important to tell the viewer is, hey, the down face is not the down face that you will always have when you start your solve. It is whatever side that is facing down at the moment, because just 5 seconds ago that was the up face, and that's something a beginner might want to know. It's like, yeah, that was my up face. How did it all of a sudden not become my up face? And also, so you've been teaching this stuff for 2 minutes now. One thing I really want to know, of course I know the answer, is why? Why do you need to know this information? Like, who cares? Right? I mean, the answer is really obvious to you and me, but to a beginner that doesn't know anything about cubing besides what you previously taught them, why does it matter? Right? And maybe you can say stuff like, yeah, it helps you scramble the cube using conventional timers. It helps you learn algorithms so you can improve yourself in cubing. It helps a lot of stuff. You can communicate with your friends, tell them like what moves you're doing, all sorts of stuff. It's really useful to learn notation and how to move a cube and how to communicate that. And I think that would better grasp or grab the attention of the viewer if you told them why they're learning what they're learning. And I think that's a big problem in education these days, is they tell you information and they don't tell you why you benefit from it. I think that's why I just didn't pay any attention in school. Yeah. So tell a person, like, what do you have to gain from this? It'll make them so much more attentive if they think they're going to be better off watching your content, and they will be. So that's cool. And I think the orange piece is cool. I'm still like kind of not sure about how effective this is compared to another just a solved cube, because of the lighting. It's kind of dark, and when black on black moves, it's not easy to see. But yeah, let's continue. So you're doing D, which is also really interesting, because D is one of the harder faces to grasp, and generally when you're teaching a beginner, it's good to throw easy stuff at them first. Like usually after you teach U, you teach like F or R, because it's really common sense and really easy to learn, and it gives people more confidence. But let's see how you handle this.
So clockwise for the down face, it's like this.
Okay.
and is called D,
Sure.
and down face counterclockwise is D prime. And then a double move is D2, and it's like this, D2. Notice how down clockwise and up clockwise are how they move with respect to each other.
Wait, what?
And up clockwise,
Hold on.
it's like this,
I'm
D2.
confused.
Notice how down clockwise and up clockwise are how they move with respect to each other. Now let's apply the same note.
Well, so you're going to tell me to notice something, but not actually tell me what to notice. Like, I think what you're trying to say is D does not follow U. Like, a D move is parallel to a U prime, and a D prime is parallel to a U. But you didn't tell me that exactly. You told me to notice that they're different, and maybe for a beginner, it might be better to just tell them what the difference is, because, I mean, I can kind of visualize it having turned a Rubik's Cube for more than 10 years, but maybe a beginner might have trouble saying, okay, he told me to notice a thing, but, you know, I'm not quite sure. I can see some people, if they're, like, catching on really quick, they'll understand that D doesn't follow U, but it's probably better to just, like, tell them the answer. Yeah, my opinion.
To the left face.
It's interesting. You're teaching left before right.
So it's hard to use your right hand to say, okay, this is clockwise. So remember that your left hand is naturally counterclockwise, or twists naturally counterclockwise. So if that's counterclockwise, then this is clockwise.
I think you would be better off just saying the rule is clockwise is with respect to you looking at the face. Then you wouldn't have to have that generalization, which is not a generalization, right? It's a generalization that people naturally turn counterclockwise with your left hand, and then after that you say, oh, there are tons of exceptions to this, and then you proceed to show exceptions with the D layer, and then now this becomes the rule again. So it's kind of, I feel like it's a little inconsistent, because a beginner is not going to know, oh, this is the case where the generalization is true, that the left hand is responsible for counterclockwise turns, and oh, this is another area where the generalization is not true, it's an exception. Like, I don't think a beginner would be able to know that. So I think you only need one rule, which is clockwise is with respect to you facing the face directly. Just imagine you're looking at it from, like, over there on the table or something. That way you won't have to leverage this generalization with a bunch of exceptions. Again, my opinion.
And that is L.
Okay, that's correct, sure.
Counterclockwise for the left side is L prime.
Mm-hmm.
And a double move is L2. Again, you can do either direction. It all depends on how your hands are positioned during that time, which is a better direction to move that face.
For sure.
Okay.
Fact.
Now let's do the right face. So with your right hand, if this is clockwise, then that means clockwise for the right is R.
Okay, so that also is another case where this follows your generalization. So, cool.
And counterclockwise is R prime. And a double move, again in any direction, is R2. Okay, so we've done up, down, left, and right. Let's do the front. So front clockwise is F, and front counterclockwise is F prime.
Okay. You almost did the F prime with your right thumb. I don't know why you stopped yourself from doing that. Usually, I mean, you can do F prime either way, but maybe you just wanted to split right and left. It feels like that could have possibly been because you wanted to keep with your generalization that clockwise turns are with your right hand. I don't know.
And again, you can do a double move in
Maybe
either
I'm
direction.
like looking way too deep into this.
Okay. Now let's do the back face.
Okay, the back face sucks. Like the back face is one of the most confusing faces.
And this is where a lot of people get confused.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So this is where the guide of your hands as a guide really helps. So if that's if that's the back, clockwise is this way. So back clockwise is.
Wait, so you're using your hands as a guide. Okay. All right. I think I'm like belaboring this point, but I think it would also be simplified.
B.
Using
And
the
then
one
with your
rule that
left
matters.
hand,
Yeah.
that's the back. Counterclockwise is B prime, like that.
Cool.
And then a double move is B2. Okay. So that's about it about basic cube notation. Remember, clockwise and counterclockwise, and also double moves. Thanks for watching, and see you soon on my next video. Remember to help support and grow my channel. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.
Okay, so yeah, I know I like belabored like that one point a ton. I just think it's like really pervasive in this tutorial. I spend a ton of time thinking about what beginners think about, and yeah, I feel like this could trip up a beginner who's not like super sharp. Again, this is just my opinion. It's based on what I think the psychology of a beginner is, so who knows if I'm right or wrong. One word of just like my opinion outside of the whole like teaching thing is, so I noticed at the end of your video you say, oh hey, thank you for watching, please help grow my channel by like commenting and subscribing. I think you should tell the reason why. You know, what does the viewer have to gain from doing it? Why should I do it? Right? I think the answer is really easy. You know, the more you support, the more you like, comment, and subscribe, the more content you can make. So, you know, one way to phrase that could be, hey, I hope this video was useful. If you want to learn more things with me, be sure to support my channel, and yeah, and look forward to future content. I think that's one good reason to support channels like this that host educational content, is telling the viewer that the more support you give them, the more content they're going to get. Otherwise, it seems like really one-sided. It's like, oh yeah, dude, help me grow, make me bigger, you know. People love to know why, and so it doesn't seem so one-sided. All right, this is the last video.
Hey fellow cubers, welcome to another speedcubecat video. In this video, I'm going to show you the puzzles I currently use and my upgrade plans for them.
Cool. This is a serious
So let's begin. First of all, we have 2x2, 3x3, 4x4, and 5x5.
Okay.
These are all Moyus.
Oh, the focus.
A little background.
The focus.
So I'm a pandemic cuber. I only start.
Okay, yeah, definitely remember to focus your camera so that cubes aren't fuzzy. I don't know where your focus is right now, though.
Started cubing because of the pandemic in 2020. And these are the first 4 speed cubes I bought.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you got him now. All right, nice. I think it's maybe your hands entered the scene, and then the camera was like, okay, I better get my stuff together. That's pretty funny.
I wanted all of them to be the same brand.
Okay.
So I all got Moyus.
Okay.
The only difference
Moyu thanks you.
is anyway, I'll go through them.
Okay.
This one is a Moyu Meilong 2M. This one is a Moyu Meilong 4M, and this is a Moyu Meilong 5M. This one is not a Meilong. This is a Moyu RS3 M 2020. So I only changed this because I heard so many good reviews about it, and it was a very good choice.
Yeah, you have a very good group of cubes. Like, they're definitely the best economy cubes, especially this 3x3 and the 4 and the 5. 2x2, you know, you have few choices, but the Meilong 2 is also a good cube.
For the 2x2, it feels hollow, and in the future, I'd probably like to compare this to a YJ UPO 2x2 V2M, or MGC 2x2, or an MGC2 Elite.
The MGC2 Elite is the most not hollow cube. out there. It has some weight to it. But the MGC is definitely, the price makes a lot more sense. You know, if you want to stay economy, looks like your puzzle line is like economy as you like to try puzzles. The MGC might be a better fit, so it's good that you know that too. It's pretty cool.
Or I could go for Chi, which is a Chi MS, or the Valk 2M.
Okay, yeah, skip the Chi MS.
For the 3x3, I'd like to compare these to some flagships. Oh, and by the way, this RS3 M 2020 has in the additional magnets.
Cool. Okay. Yep. Good stuff.
For the 4x4, this is a good budget 4x4, especially for people who are beginning cubing.
Okay, true.
But I'd like to compare this in the future to a Moyu Aosu 4x4 WRM.
Okay.
Or the smaller YJ G-Long Mini 4x4M.
Cool. Yep.
And for the 5x5, this is the Moyu Meilong 5M. And I'd like to, again, this is a good budget puzzle for people who are starting to cube. It's a good budget magnetic puzzle. In the future, I'd like to compare this to a Valk 5M or a YJ MGC 5x5. Okay, so those were the first 4 cubes I got. Then I got 6x6 and a 7x7.
Nice.
For the 6x6, I have a YJ MGC 6x6.
That's a good one.
And 7x7, it's also YJ. It's a YJ UFU 7x7 V2M.
Cool. Yep.
I'm really happy with the YJ MGC 6x6. So this is the only cube I'd recommend.
Yep. The rest of the world loves the cube too. It's definitely one of the best cubes.
I don't see any plans to compare this to anything in the future, or at least what's currently in the market right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For the 7x7, I'd like to compare this to the YJ MGC 7x7 or the X-Man Design Spark.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a 7x7.
That makes a lot of sense.
Next is clock. So I bought this Shengshao magnetic clock because it's a cheap clock, and but I'd love to compare this in the future to the Qi magnetic clock. I bought this because it has screws here, so it's easy to open up and to mod. So one thing to note about this one is when I got it is you couldn't even turn this before, so I really had to loosen it.
Yes.
And second is the clocks inside, some were actually not in place. And the third is, I don't know if you can see that, but there is one hand that's black, this one over here. Unfortunately, I can't move that to here because the mechanisms for the 4 corners are different from the mechanisms in the center or the ones on the edges. Okay, so that's my clock.
Yeah.
Next,
I think you'll have a much better experience with the Qi clock. It's a whole new level of clock. But at least this one kind of moves. The older one didn't really move. The Ling-Ao clock, it just, like, a third of them had problems. So at least you got the one that doesn't have like the 60% success rate.
Next is the Megaminx.
Nice.
I currently use the YJ Yuhu Megaminx V2M.
It's a good one.
I'm happy with this for a beginner in Megaminx, or should I say? I by the way, I solve all of these puzzles every day. The
Nice.
only thing I don't like about this is it corner twists.
Oh no!
So sometimes at the end of my solve, I realize that there's a corner that I can't fix. Okay. And if in the future, I'd love to compare this to an X-Man Galaxy Megaminx V2M.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The
Galaxy's
after the
a lot
Megaminx is the Pyraminx. So for a Pyraminx, I currently use an X-Man Bell Magnetic Pyraminx V2.
Okay.
I got this just a few weeks after it was released, and I got it on sale. Looking back, I'd love to maybe looked at the X-Man Bell Magnetic Pyraminx V1.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd also like to compare this to the GAN Pyraminx.
That makes sense. Yeah, the V1 is the one with all the records.
Mix.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's not really fair because like pandemic's not allowed us to compete. So yeah.
And next would be the Scube. This
That's
is
the
the
Wingy.
X-Man Wingy
Yeah.
Magnetic Cube. I also got this on sale at a good price. The only thing I don't like about this cube is it pops. So in the future, I'd love to compare this to a Moyu Aoyan's cube or a Gan's cube.
Cool.
And then there's the square one.
YLM.
The square one, I have Yushin Little Magic square one magnetic.
Cool.
It's very rigid, and it needs some modding so that it's a little more flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So in the future, I'd love to compare this to an Expand Volt Square One V2M. I've heard that there is actually a YJ Square One that's coming out, and that's another one that I'd love to compare this to. I've heard good things about that YJ if it really comes into production. Anyway, that's it for all the cubes I currently use. What I'll do is I'll write the cubes in the description and also the ones I mentioned in the post. Okay, that's about it. Thanks for watching. And again, please support my channel, like, comment, and subscribe. Happy cubing, and see you at my next video. Bye.
Cool. Yeah. And what I would have probably said the same thing, which is, why? And it's obvious. You have all these puzzles. You got to make more content. Subscribe and support, and you'll see more content. You have so many puzzles you can make content with. So people definitely have something to look forward to. I'm just going to let's see here. Wrap up this video. I know it's been like 30 something minutes. I think definitely I like your focus on education. I know I'm really nitpicky about certain things, maybe to the point of being like OCD, but that's just how my brain works. And I guess this series is about how my brain works in the context of other people's brains on YouTube. So I hope it's not like weird or anything, but yeah, I do think that some of the content in the tutorials may confuse people who are like beginners and not like super attentive, but the intention is there. They want to help people and help them learn stuff. I know you have a lot of stuff on your channel that is for beginners, like what does a cube part look like, let's look at the faces of the cube notation. So it looks like you're building up to something. You're just teaching beginners like really basic things, and I think it's really cool content. Not a lot of people have the patience to make content like this, so I hope you can build up to something cooler and bigger always. One idea is, like, you mentioned that you are a pandemic cuber. You started cubing in the pandemic. I would love to learn more about your background, because you seem like you're at least my age, maybe around my age. I don't really know, but like your story would be really interesting to hear. Like, what do you do for a living? How did you come into contact with your first speed cubing piece of content? What did you think of cubing when you first got in? How did the pandemic play into your decision to cube? Will you still cube after the pandemic? What do you think cubing has taught you / showed you? All this interesting stuff. I think people would love to hear that, and a lot of people potentially can relate to it because maybe they're cubing extra hard in the pandemic and want to learn more. So I think life story would be really, really interesting, and I want to see you cube. None of these videos you do any sort of substantial cubing. The most you've cubed is the Soon and the anti-Soon, and then the U-perm when you're comparing the cubes. It would be great to see you cube in a like a realistic solving environment that would be fresh, or maybe you can just record an average. That way you can vary up your content, and you can also document your path from being 3 minutes to under 30 seconds, which is a very big jump, right? 3 minutes is 180 seconds. Going down to 30 seconds is not easy. So that's cool. So that's my, I guess, my watching your 3 videos. I think you're a really unique content creator. Definitely stick to the education thing. Love to hear a personal story. Want to see more cubing. If you can change one thing about the setup, I would do something about the lighting so it's less dark and warm. Maybe warm is okay, but dark at the same time, it just seems like you're like in a dimly lit room, which I'm not sure that like helps when you're showing stuff on a cube. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to watch your videos and for making a video about it. Well, yeah, it's been fun. Let me know what you think. Apologies for the nitpicky, I guess, attitude I have. That's just me. And hopefully it was useful. Take care.